We have a video that I've kind of had on my list for a while by Sydney Watson. I watch her videos quite a lot. She has very good videos, often talking about all kinds of political stuff, and you know, one of the few channels that I actually kind of watch to keep track of what's actually going on in the world. This is Why Won't Men Approach Me? I guess we'll see. Also, let me just turn off my air conditioner. I was taking a little air conditioning break.
Tell me why every day I go out.
Holy breasts. I mean, nice sunglasses you have there.
Looking adorable, and yet nobody ever hits on me or approaches me.
They're actually undercover police officers taking to the streets in Surrey as part of a new operation trying to stop people catcalling and harassing.
Seriously?
Seriously, what?
That's what I said. Wait, seriously?
They're actually undercover police officers taking to the streets in Surrey as part of a new operation trying to stop people catcalling and harassing female.
It's gotta be fake, right? I mean, it's on TikTok. Of course it has to be fake, right? There's no shot that they're doing this.
Runners.
Seriously, what are we doing?
There's no shot. It's gotta
Hi,
be
my name is
fake.
Sydney. Welcome back to hell. And as per usual, before we launch in, today's video is sponsored by American Financing.
Oh my
and
god, it is.
also, very important, I am going on tour in October around the United States.
Oh my
9
god, she
shows
is.
in different cities. You should go buy tickets at the link in the description. Come see me live. It's going to be a little bit more personal.
Don't know
than
how
I do
old this
on
video
channel,
is
but still
actually,
a lot
so
of fun, and it'll be really cool to meet a bunch of you.
2
There
weeks
are
ago.
VIP tickets available.
Might be too
They're
late.
a little bit more personal. We get
Don't
to
know.
kind of hang out before the show. There are general admission tickets. There are meet and greet tickets. There will be specific tour merch that is pretty cool that I've been working on. So if I am in your city, come and see me. Buy some tickets. Bring your friends. Bring your mom. Bring your dad or whoever. I promise it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to meeting all of you. Okay, let's.
I wonder what, and this is no shade to anybody or anything, especially not due to Miss Sydney here, but what do content creators actually do on quote-unquote tours? Like, you know, when a band or something goes on tour, I obviously assume they play music. What do content creators do? I mean, maybe just answer some questions? Like, a meet and greet I get, but like a tour of meet and greets or something?
Do the video.
Don't know.
Now, I am positive that some of you saw this, but a couple weeks ago, 2 videos went viral on our favorite demented platform, Twitter. I am never going to call it X. You can't make me. Basically,
I never have and never will.
Cute ladies who were lamenting that menfolk don't approach them when they're out in the world, despite dressing and acting cute and sexy to attract said menfolk. One woman had seemingly just had a night out when you would think that the lads would probably try to hit on you.
I better pay attention to me tonight. I'm so fucking sick of this shit. Oh my god. Touch a boob, buy a drink. I mean, it's like very fucking simple.
Whereas the other woman was out on a run, which is...
That one I would say, if you're, okay, assuming these 2, maybe even 3, because someone's holding the camera right, if they're talking about, oh, why won't anyone approach me, blah, 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 like, it is one, I'm not, first off, I'm not one to approach anyone, right? I don't really care about, you know, dating or anything like that, so, you know, take everything I say with a grain of salt, but, if as a guy, I will tell you that if there's like 3 women, let's say at a bar, there's 3 women hanging out, like friends, right? In my opinion, it would be way more difficult to approach them. Because, well, there's a couple of reasons, right? One, like, just think about it for a second, right? What happens when you're hanging out with your friends and then someone comes up to your friend group and then tries to be genuine and tries to maybe start a conversation with one of you with one of you, whether it's you or your friends, right? What do you think happens? The group will try to make the situation into a joke or something funny, or kind of like how friends do, right? They banter about whatever is happening. So most likely, if a guy went up to them, they would be shit on. Like when it comes to like the social situation. Potentially, if they're kind-hearted people, they might allow it. They might even entertain the idea. They might entertain the guy, so on and so forth. But ultimately, if you're obviously approaching with the intention of getting one of the girl's numbers, it's kind of like most likely the friend group will tear you to shreds. They will laugh at you. They'll be like, "Can you believe this guy?" Right? Not gonna happen. It's so much, and that's why most guys, I would say, won't approach, because they know that if there's more than one woman, then they're more like twice, 3 times as likely to get rejected.
I mean, it's like very fucking simple.
Whereas the other woman was out on a run, which is maybe a less invite.
Because it's like, it's one of those situations where if you're with somebody, you're less approachable because you're already in a conversation with somebody. You're already, you're already hanging out with someone. So it's hard to approach you with the intention of joining you for your time.
Environment. This is 100% how men get sprayed in the face with bear mace.
Hey, I need you to spray me in the face with pepper spray for a bit.
Bruh.
You need to think of a better bit.
True based.
Rude. Tell me why every day I go out looking adorable, tits bouncing, skin glistening, and yet nobody ever hits on me or approaches me. Ever. Oh my god, like please. I'll take a fucking construction worker catcall at this point.
Construction worker, she says. Brother, like, this is this woman doesn't know what she is asking for. Most likely, these catcallers that she refers to are not construction workers. What she has in her head is the image of you walking past, like a woman walking past some sort of like gated area, and then behind the gate there's like these construction workers working on a building or something, and they're all like ripped and like wearing hard hats, and then they're behind the gate and they go like, hey, like looking good, right? And the woman keeps walking or whatever. That's what she's thinking of, most likely. In reality, what she would get, what she is asking for, is not that. What she will get is a homeless person going, hey, pretty lady, you want to join me and I'll show you a good time? That's what she will get, right? That's what she is asking for. Ultimately, I don't think she knows what she's asking for. You're not going to get some sort of construction worker. That's the best case scenario. The more normal scenario is some sort of homeless man who wants to, proposition you for sex.
Please.
Anyway, both clips attracted a ton of commentary and attention, and the commentary that was being expressed...
And then when it happens, when it finally does happen, someone approaches her to catcall her, she'll be like, ew, no, because it's a fucking homeless person, right?
Went in a couple different directions. The first and most obvious one was men saying that this is really the result of women for years telling them not to approach women, not to approach them. Then there were the women who were saying, yes, we do want to be approached.
Catcalling and approaching, completely different things.
And it is up to the men to do the approaching, and we wish you guys would do it more. And then there were
I actually believe that women should approach.
I want to be left alone. Forever. Personally, I was left feeling a little bit demoralized by all of this and a bit disappointed in the gender wars and how bad men and women are at interacting with one another. But on its own, with only these 2 clips as illustrating points, I really didn't feel like getting into this topic and then trying to make a whole video out of it because I wasn't really sure that there was all that much to say. But in my travels of the internet, I have come across 2 videos that also went viral recently that relate to the first 2 clips that I showed you. And now I have some things to say. In these viral videos, Surrey Police Department in England had female officers go undercover as joggers to elicit catcalls. So they were doing all of this on purpose. And then they...
This has to be fake. Or if it's not fake, it has to be... Because why else would they say it, right? What I think this is actually... I think this is a deterrent, most likely what they're trying. They film this video, publish it to the public. Like, why would they do that? To tell people that, hey, there are undercover police officers doing this, you know, supposedly, so don't catcall. That's basically what they're saying. I don't think there are actually police officers undercover. They most likely just filmed this to release it to the public and then tell public, you know, people that you shouldn't do it. You know, because I mean, I really doubt that they would actually waste police officer time on this. I don't think that if they do, they are I'm sorry, but they are incredibly retarded.
And folk about this inappropriate behavior, or arrest them for harassment.
We get honked at, the staring, the hanging out of the window just to look at us, and it just...
Okay.
It's so prevalent.
And police teams are ready to intervene the moment the officers are beeped at, followed, or shouted
Intervene? To do what? For looking?
Those kind of behaviours may not be criminal offences in themselves.
Yes.
But they still need to be addressed.
Not by the police. You're supposed to fucking... You know, I like to say this one thing. I've started saying this recently. But these days, there's 2 types of people in the world these days. Normal people and fucking retards.
And of course, the people that are likely to commit those kind of behaviours, you know, they may then go on to commit more serious offences or more serious behaviours.
May being the key word here. Yeah, a person who might play a violent video game may go and shoot up a school as well. Yes, may. A person who doesn't show any bad behaviors may also rob a bank. Everyone may do something.
According to the Telegraph, Surrey police made 18 arrests for offences like sexual assault and harassment that seemingly have come about as the result of this.
For people to recognise that it's not right, it's not just a small act, it's a...
Yes, it is. It 100% is.
A thing that...
I'm sorry to tell you, but like, catcalling and rape, not even close to similar. Like, what are we talking about?
Really quite uncomfortable. So I think it's important. Sorry.
Yeah, it's called the real world. What are you, 12 years old?
Taking it so serious. It's one of our force priorities.
That's a priority for the police force over there? Bruh.
And for me, that makes me feel proud to work for Surrey Police, because for me, it's...
Oh my God. Holy... Who allowed them to put this out?
Such a personal experience.
How fucking stupid are they?
A lot of other, if not all other women who experience it. So I feel empowered to be a part of such an operation.
How about you feel empowered to be a part of an operation that stops, I don't know, criminals, actual criminals?
So when I saw these videos, and by the way, I think that this original campaign was posted about a month ago and only recently started going viral, so deal with that information what you will. But like many people, I have some feelings about this, and I wanted to take the opportunity to express them. This is good timing because actually a bunch of people in the UK have been hitting me up recently being like, Sydney, will you please talk about the weirdness and the terribleness that's going on in our country? And the answer to that
I wonder
is
what's
yes,
going on in
yes,
their
I
country.
Will, Simon. But unfortunately,
I
we're
don't.
starting here.
I
So let's
I
start
actively
with this
try not
Surrey
to
police honeypot operation. And I think
jump
I speak
into
for
any
all of us when I say that
dumb
I'm
fuck
not so
retardation.
interested in honeypot operations, but I am interested in dealing with lovely mortgage lenders, which is why today's video is sponsored by American Financing. Now, according to my viewer metrics, a lot of you, like me, did the irresponsible thing of growing up and acquiring adult responsibilities. And one of those responsibilities is trying to manage your finances. This can be a stressful, high anxiety thing for anyone to do. And in today's economy, the prospect makes me want to squeeze my Mr. Snuggle Bear real tight. But fear not, my lovely viewers, because American Financing is riding to your aid like a knight that's really good at financial stuff. American Financing is a family-owned mortgage lender that won't just help you get the loan that you need to buy a house, they're also magicians that will help you manage high-interest debt. And what's more, you can actually trust American Financing because their consultants are salary-based, so they have no incentive to bait you into a loan that only helps themselves. It is all tailored to your needs. And I mean, they don't even have any hidden or upfront fees. And just look at all these awards. What even is this place? And best of all, customers report an average saving of $800 a month with American Financing, who at this point have helped hundreds of thousands of homeowners. So you know that they're like really good at this. So if you're like me, a fellow home buying human being, and you're ready to give up your Mr. Snuggle Bear, then call American Financing today on 888-841-1319.
I have my Mr. Snuggle Bear. It's called my body pillow.
1319. Or of course, click the link in the description or go to americanfinancing.net/Sydney. The stated goal from these cops in their own press release is to make women feel safer in public spaces and demonstrate to men that creepy, threatening behavior is a no-go. And that's honestly something that I just overall support. I don't think that either sex should feel uncomfortable.
I mean, sure, but like she's saying right now, it's about both sexes. It's not just about one. Like, it's not like, I mean, it's not like guys don't get attacked as well, you know? And sure, like, catcalling is, like, uncomfortable to women in many cases. Not in all cases, apparently, but it's like, yeah, but, like, just because you're getting catcalled doesn't mean that you're gonna get, like, assaulted. And if we're talking about being assaulted, then guys are just as likely to get assaulted. Well, maybe not like, not sexually, but like still, you know? So it's like, you would think you would want to make the public places safer for everybody, not just for one group of people. This goes for fucking racism as well. It's like everyone's like, oh, safe spaces for black people, safe spaces for Asians. It's like, yeah, or we just make every place safe for everybody. Am I the crazy person here?
Comfortable out in the world. And as far as catcalling goes, for years there have actually been many initiatives to stop it. And I can absolutely see both sides of the aisle here. I know the vast majority of men probably can't relate to this because I am quite certain that it doesn't really happen to you very regularly, but catcalling is annoying at best and downright actually threatening at worst. I have known
I would imagine so.
And had friends who have had disgusting, vile things shouted at them from vehicles. I've known women who have been followed home or followed for blocks by creepy men and just made to feel generally unsafe out in life. In my personal experience,
I would imagine that happens indeed.
Memories of having this group of friends that I would hang out with, and sometimes after school when we were sort of between 13 through 16, we would walk to the shops from high school, and we would get catcalled all the time. And I remember then thinking, this is creepy. I was a young teenage girl in my school uniform, for goodness sake. Actually, no. That one checks. I mean, you know, considering what the most popular adult content is on the internet. So,
I'm not
seriously,
sure
though, talk to
which
the
one
women
it
in your
is,
life,
actually.
and you will realize just how many of them were catcalled as teenagers, and not even when they're, you know, 16, 17, 18. I mean like 12, 13. When you're a potato, you know. So
Then again, yeah, sure, I fully can see it because, dude, these days, have you seen fucking 13-year-olds these days? Bruh, there are entire games made where you have to choose whether you're shown a picture and then you have to choose if they're like 20 plus something or 13. And it's very difficult.
Information what you will. I also think with catcalling, there is a huge difference between simply telling a woman that she's beautiful or attractive and then leaving her alone and doing things like this.
Well, what do they usually say to you?
Oh my god, what do they not say?
Carpet match the curtains. The fries come with that shade.
I'll straight up fuck you.
Anyway.
I don't think those are real, actually. I mean, not that they don't happen. I'm sure they are real and they have. People have said that. But when I say real, I mean, like, I don't think the guys that say that are actually saying that seriously. Most likely, they are with their buddies and they see like a woman pass by and they it's the exact same thing that happens when you're playing like a, you know, you hear people playing fucking, I don't know, Counter-Strike or something, right? And they're all in voice chat and then a girl joins, right? It's the exact same thing that happens there, where guys will actively be an asshole to the girl and make them uncomfortable and like quote unquote catcall them like that to be funny to the other guys, essentially. I don't like no one who is saying those things is saying them because they want to actually get the woman or get into the pants of the woman. You know, they are saying it because their guy friends are sitting right next to them and they think it's funny. Like, that's the only explanation I can come up with. And I'm quite sure that's the case. Because otherwise, I don't know. They're just extremely fucking stupid.
So all of those creepy, uncomfortable experiences really do stick with you. And that's, I guess, why I can understand why some women are looking at the Surrey Police Initiative and thinking, this is good. This is a step in the right direction when it comes to making public spaces safer for women. But when I think about this a little bit deeper, when I really dig into it, I think that this is a little bit more nuanced than that. I don't see this issue as terribly black and white. I think that there are certainly shades of gray. And I think this is where it ties back to those original clips that I showed you at the very beginning of this video. Like I said, Surrey police are essentially carrying out a sort of honeypot operation, setting up a scenario to bait men into behavior that's then punished. Men are already nervous about approaching women, I think. They second guess their moves, they're worried about being misread. Now add the fear of a literal sting operation. Imagine a guy working up the courage to tell some cute woman passing by that she looks beautiful, and then the next thing he knows, he's got a cop in his face telling him he said some no-no words. And I'm not super sure that initiatives like this are capable of making the distinction between something that is innocuous and genuinely complimentary and someone being an actual risk. And they couldn't possibly, because, let's be real, you don't know the intention of the person doing the catcalling until they're either walking away from you, asking for your phone number, or trying to drag you into their van. And because of this unfortunate reality, these initiatives basically risk casting a uniform net over any man who approaches any woman in any context, and I think that's really sad. Again, I don't think a ton of men can relate to this, thankfully for you guys, but, you know, as a woman and for a lot of women, I think that in this context, we do kind of have to assume that any man approaching us is a threat until proven otherwise, and that's not based around, you know, like a man-hating thing.
True.
It's rather just that as the weaker sex, you do have to be careful about who is around you and who's in your surroundings. And that's why a lot of women go for runs with weapons or with pepper spray or you know, they let people know where they're going, because there's a lot of women who do go out on runs who don't come back. But for men, and I think this is also really sad, this feeds into the exact fear that is stopping men from approaching women in the first place, and it's a fear that is feeding into the things that the women in the initial clips were lamenting.
So I vote that we take all of the creepy men and we put them into the arena. And there
Agreed.
they will fight to entertain the masses with their very lives.
Agreed.
Whoa, I don't know where that came from. Then there's also
Sydney
this
Watson for
massive
president,
issue
ladies and
here,
gentlemen.
which is policing
I would vote
the UK
for her.
wants to allot resources to catcall stings, but actively ignores actually serious crimes. Judges in the country routinely let fans of the playground walk free for some absolutely...
Child sex offenders and burglars spared jail despite dozens of previous convictions? What the fuck?
Reason. Harassment, SA, and the like, particularly when it involves foreign nationals or when it revolves around grooming gangs, which are well documented, literally gets less attention.
The heck is a
Take the
grooming gang?
gang scandals in places like Rotherham or Telford, for example. Thousands of girls and women were victimized, and the authorities dragged their feet for years on this, too afraid of being accused of racism. And when they did finally act, it was absolutely too little, too late. Even now, people continue to act like this isn't a huge, pervasive issue.
Yet we've got police jogging around to catch a whistle. Are you serious?
So it's really not all that hard to see this as a massive misallocation.
Well, I'm sure there's more
Unpleasant,
red
icky
tape everywhere,
catcalling
but
absolutely sucks, but it is nowhere near on the same level of systemic abuse. So the question becomes, why focus on this seemingly low-hanging fruit when there are much bigger fruits to be picked? This disconnect...
well, I think it's because it's basically a war on many fronts when it comes to, you know, police. The police. What's the word? ESL, by the way. It's them like. Fuck. How am I not thinking of the right word? I guess they're marketing. You know, like they have to show that they're doing something. I mean, obviously, there's no excuse for allowing child grooming gangs to stay afloat, but still, you know, I guess they probably think that they can get back some public goodwill from this.
Result, you have good men, and I think that's an important distinction. Good men, because good men don't act like pigs, who are feeling fearful and targeted, and then you have women who are also feeling fearful and unheard. Meanwhile, the absolute schmoes who deserve to be in prison are slipping through the cracks.
It's like we're fighting over all these gender war scraps while all these absolute psychopaths walk around unencumbered.
And I don't like it, Simon.
Sounds
I don't
about
like
right.
it at all. So to the broader point of men not approaching women who want to be approached, I think what we are currently seeing from modern society is pretty bad right now, and I think it is negatively affecting both men and women. I think a lot of men, by their nature, are pursuit hunters. So back when we were taking down prey with nothing but pointy sticks and a dream, men would pursue prey for miles until it got too tired to resist and served itself up for din-din. So, and not to use like kind of a weird example, but I think men sort of pursue women in a similar fashion by nature. They see a woman that they like, an antelope, a gazelle, if you will, and then they will continue to woo and court her until she sees him as a competent and compatible mate,
where she will then serve herself up for din-din.
I mean, if you get rid of all our social, all the social stuff and conversation stuff, then I guess. But there's a lot more to it than that, I think.
The thing is, and obviously I can't speak for all women, we are by no means a monolith. We don't all think the same or feel the same, but I do think that a large portion of women do like to be pursued and like to see men doing the pursuing, because it probably indicates that there is a level of deeper connection and desire that men have that will see women cared for and protected, really,
I mean, that's
for
true.
the rest of our lives. And
I just thought of something. Hang on. I have an idea. Hang on a second. Hang on. Let me show. I'm gonna show you guys what I think is going on. I'm just gonna bring this up real quick. Okay. So let me show you guys what's going on, at least in my opinion. Okay. The question is, why are we getting mixed messages? Why are men and women getting mixed messages? Right? So let me create a little graph for you. Not graph, but like a little illustration. Okay, so first off, this will be the internet. Okay? This is where all the information comes out of. This and this, left wing, right wing, right? Now, what is actually happening? These lines, these are pipelines. These are pipelines of information, okay? Now, what feeds into this pipeline? You have, let's say, something like so, and the same thing goes on this side, okay? Now, these lines, these information pipelines, right, feed into the main pipeline that feeds into the internet as left wing or right wing. Now, these circles represent groups, different groups. So, let's say in this group, right, in this group here, are women who, let's say, like to be approached, right? This group, this is A. Women who like to be approached, right? Then you have B. Women who do not like to be approached, right? Now, as A's information goes into the pipeline and goes into the internet, right? This is where everyone who's quote-unquote right wing or, you know, basically on the internet, they will see that information as, oh, women like to be approached. Okay, that's cool. But then at the same time, B's information, women who do not like to be approached, goes into the pipeline. And then also goes into the internet. What happens? The people who are on the right wing or anywhere else, they will see from the internet that, oh, wait, women don't like to be approached? Huh? But didn't they just say that women like to be approached? But now they're saying that they don't like to be approached? Huh? Right? And this is what's happening. Essentially, different groups on the same side, quote unquote, same side, are giving different opinions as to what should be the norm. Right? And so all of these things go into the pipeline, right? All of these things go into the pipeline and feed into the internet. The problem, and of course the same thing happens on this side as well. Like for instance, you know, a man or multiple men say that, I don't know, like, I'm trying to come up with an example here. Like, let's say you have a normal group of men saying that, oh, you know, they like women, they treat women nice. And then you have the Andrew Tate group, right, that says, oh, all women should be subservient, right? And they should be submissive and breedable and get in the kitchen and make me a sandwich type, right? And that information comes in. All the women on the left side here see, oh, all men are pigs, right? But then you have the other group saying, no, 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 no. We want to be equal with women. We want to treat them well. All we want is kindness, right? And you have all these different groups giving their own opinions, but it all comes from the one pipeline here, right? And the main problem with these right wings and left wings is that there's no gatekeeping, right? There's nothing that like goes through all these opinions and says, hey, what is our collective opinion of the right wing or or the left wing? There is none, right? It's just open. It's just completely open. Anyone can just say whatever the fuck they want. So it's like if like a small group, right? Like a super small group of people come out and say, hey, we hate all men and all men should die from the left wing, then all of a sudden right-wing people or centralist or whatever people, whoever others there are, they will see that, oh, left-wing people want all men to die. But it's not all left-wing people that want people to die or men to die. It's just a small little group under the massive umbrella that is all left-wing. Same thing with the right-wing. That's why this whole left-wing and the right-wing bullshit is just that, bullshit. And that's what I think is happening. You have one group of women saying, we like men approaching us, it makes us feel good, it makes us feel desired, blah, blah. And then you have the other group that doesn't want men approaching them, giving, opposite information. And then everything feeds into the internet where people get their information from. That's what I think is happening, basically.
And I think that's really noble and really honorable and really nice. And you guys are welcome to disagree with me as much as you like, but I do think that a lot of this is innate. I do think it's inbuilt. And, as much as we have had, probably a good couple decades of programming trying to disrupt, biological conventions, I don't think that we're going to get around some of these components because, like I said...
I think I disagree with her on this. I don't think it's biological. I think most people think that it's like instinct or biology or something, when it's really not. It's basically just boredom. Because back in the day, we didn't have as much entertainment as we do now, and that's why people wanted to have children, because they had nothing better to do, right? But now they do have a lot of better things to do. That's why they don't want children anymore, because children have always been kind of annoying to take care of.
I think they're inbuilt. And this is probably why you see women who are very upset that no man will approach them when they're out on the town or when they're out on their run, displaying their jiggle physics.
I mean, there's some good jiggle physics.
Really good take. Men pursuing women isn't a bad thing. It's literally step one of the propagation of our species.
I really think that women should approach men instead. Because ultimately they're the ones to, most of the time, make the decision, the final decision.
A serious issue by making a very natural occurrence that benefits both parties a punishable act. There's no nuance here. All pursuit is bad pursuit. Decent men not approaching women these days is not really born out of some random caution. I think there are myriad reasons why men stay away. For one, the social climate in recent years has changed drastically. In the past, a man could go up to a woman.
The reason is, once again, like I just said, better things to do. Ultimately, and I've said this before, but the likelihood of succeeding for a man when they ask a woman out is, or approach a woman, is 5, maybe max 10%. Okay? You can, at most, if you don't take care of it, if you do not take care of yourself, it is 0%. Okay? 0% success chance, ultimately. You can get it up to around maybe 10% if you take care of yourself and you act decently, and they're single, obviously, and available and willing. But ultimately, it's max 10%, right? At least from my own, from what I've seen. So it's like you already have a max success rate of 10%. That's it. And a lot of guys just are like, I don't want to go through, I don't want to do something that I know I'll most likely fail. No one wants to do that.
At a bar or somewhere out in public and strike up a conversation.
And then they think to themselves, why put myself through that for a 90% chance to fail if I can just go home and play some video games on their PC, you know?
And not be sweating bullets. Now, from what I understand, a lot of guys feel like every single move that they make is under a microscope. The Me Too movement, for all of its faults, did expose some credible predators, but one of its fallouts was leaving men with a lingering fear that innocent actions will be misread or misinterpreted. Secondly, today it doesn't help that everything is documented 100% of the time. A single awkward interaction could end up on Twitter or TikTok, like we've seen with all of these gym videos where women make a glance or a normal interaction seem creepy and predatory when it really isn't. And social media doesn't just judge, it broadcasts to millions of people who are only getting a sliver of the actual story, but turning into raging lunatics over it anyway. This video was probably gonna end here, but then I thought of more things that I wanted to add, so I am recording on a different day, although I have tried to make myself look the same for continuity purposes.
I didn't even notice.
It's not the same. It's a different day.
Sorry.
So I just wanted
I'm
to
sorry.
acknowledge that in case anyone
I did not
why
notice.
does she suddenly look different?
I would be a horrible
Because
partner.
I'm a different person today. The irony
I would
for
not-
me is
I
that
would
don't
not
like
ever
how my
notice
hair
anything.
or makeup looks in this video, but I had to do the same thing for continuity purposes. So yeah,
I don't pay
back
attention
the topic.
to
the issue here
how people
too
look
is that
necessarily.
there's really no way of knowing which
Like
women
the
are
details, I
open
mean.
to advances and which women are going to feel threatened. And when it comes to this issue, I actually really empathize with decent normal men. They're damned if they do, damned if they don't. They might approach a woman and she might think that they're being a creep, or they might ignore a woman and then she feels invisible. But from the woman's vantage point, and the thing that often gets lost in this conversation when it comes to this specific criticism, is that I would argue the majority of women have been threatened at one point or another in their life. So this unfortunate and sad sense of unease that a lot of women feel and experience definitely makes sense. When I first started making videos, I probably would have had a different series of thoughts and commentary about this, but I think the older that I get, the more that I realize there is unfortunately a portion of men who ignore boundaries and do approach women with this entitled, aggressive behavior.
It's
that
called
in turn
retards,
ruins everything
unfortunately.
for the
It is what it
normal
is.
guys who just want to ask a woman on a date or tell her that she's pretty. And it also ruins it for the women who
I
want
mean,
to make that.
She says that, but that's the thing, right? Like a guy coming up to a random woman and saying that she's pretty is not a normal thing to do, by the way. Right? Like very few women, I feel like, would take that as just a lighthearted, genuine compliment. If a guy comes up to a woman and says, "Hey, I think you're pretty," or "Hey, I just wanted to approach you and say that I think you're really pretty," it's like that's immediately putting the woman on the defensive. Immediately.
Nice normal guy who wants to be protective and caring and loving.
If you want to approach somebody, and this goes for women as well, right? If you want to approach somebody, do it because of a reason, right? Even if you don't actually have a reason, think of a reason. Some sort of common thing that you both are doing, or, I don't know, just any reason that you have to approach this person that's good, right? That's friendly, that's basically the idea is that you're not you're making them understand that you're not approaching them to get with them, if that makes sense, right? You don't want them to think that you're approaching them because you are pursuing them. So come up with some sort of reason to approach them, and then show that you're friendly. Maybe try to make her laugh with a quick joke or something pertaining to the topic that you approached her with, basically. And then finally, maybe, make it seem like you just thought of it on the spot, and then maybe ask her out or something. I don't know. Point is, do not cold approach them with a compliment. That's
It's
a
like
huge
this
no-no.
group of creepy, terrible people is ruining it for everybody else. Oh, that's basically how it is with every issue. Wow. So I have
Yep.
also thought
Sounds
a lot
about right.
about how we deal with this issue without resorting to police officers basically baiting men on the street. And one of the
Women
things
have
I've
to
landed
approach.
on is good, strong men policing terrible men. But even that is basically borderline impossible to do these days, because when good protective men do step in, they're the ones who often get arrested. This will
Yep.
never not be frustrating to me. This very recently happened on a train in London, where a man exposed himself to passengers and then a bunch of Englishmen took him down, and they were the ones who were arrested. The same goes for Daniel Penny here in the United States.
If they assaulted him, then yes, I can see it, because ultimately, just because you do not take, you do not do vigilante justice, okay? You just don't follow the fucking law.
For those who don't know,
You're
Penny,
fine.
who is a former Marine, basically intervened on a New York subway train car when a man was threatening other passengers. Penny restrained the man, who passed away, not from the restraining, just to be clear, but for other reasons that I'm actually not sure of off the top of my head. Anyway, instead of being hailed a hero, Penny instead faced very serious legal consequences and public backlash. And when I say legal consequences, I mean, you know, he was like looking.
Was the guy black? I wonder why, right? Wasn't there literally recently a fucking, well, I say recently, but little bit ago, a thing where like a black kid just full on murdered a white kid in some like school track meet or something, and then like a bunch of people just raised money for the murderer, like $500,000.
Looking at a sentence.
Like that happened. Like what?
That could have put him in prison for a very long time. Personally, I think it's pretty screwed up that socially men who act appropriately are punished for their good intentions, and we aren't even meaningfully addressing the terrible ones here. Punishing men who actually have good intentions to help women, obviously, but other people too, isn't actually helping women if the only people not being punished are the ones who need to be punished. It's so annoying because all of this basically amounts to virtue signaling at the expense of women, but not actually doing anything to help us. So yeah, whoever designed this current system at play, whoever pushed for it, has successfully made it so that men don't want to approach women, which is making women feel unwanted and lonely and honestly not super protected. Again, socially, we are punishing good men's protective natures, which
I think we're going towards a direction of women beginning to ask more men out. I really do think that's where we're headed. That's the only like logical direction that I can see where we can go after all this shit. Because more and more men, you know, quote unquote, pull out, because it's just too big of a risk. You know, not only are you most likely getting rejected, even if you don't get in trouble of any kind, you're most likely still getting rejected, right? So it's like a kind of a double whammy. Like, are you, like before it was like, okay, well, let's say, you know, a guy really wants a girlfriend or something, and they take the, you know, 5-10% chance of success and they go out and they try, right? The only downside would be getting rejected. Okay. But now there's the added risk of, oh, something could go wrong and I could end up fucking, you know, worst case scenario, going to prison for something. You know, it's like, or even killed, however way, you know, whichever way. Who knows? Point is that now it's just too big of a risk. It's just too big of a risk. And I think more and more men will just are turned off.
Bad men. And you know, speaking of the bad men, I am sure that they are loving these developments and probably feel emboldened by them, because if there are no good men who can step in and stop other people being victimized because They are being handcuffed, both figuratively and literally. What do you think happens in that context? It leaves the bad men to become worse, Simon. That's what. Not to wheel out the women most affected meme, but, you know, women most affected. I don't know, guys. These topics really make me sad because these issues are absolutely way more nuanced than just this black and white thinking that typically comes out when people are discussing them. But I think, you know, one of the bottom lines here is that creeps and psychopaths are the ones who end up benefiting the most because of all of this weird socio-political flexing that goes on with relation to this topic. As a woman and as a member of the fairer sex, can I completely understand why women are very sad with men not approaching them and talking to them and asking them out in appropriate settings? Yes, absolutely. That was my, like, entire dating life. Men didn't talk to me, but that's also probably because I'm really tall and I have a resting bitch face. Maybe. Do I also understand why men don't really want to approach women these days? Yeah, I do, actually. I get it. Do I understand why women don't want to be catcalled on their runs or when they're walking home from school as a teenage girl? Yes, absolutely I do. But do I also think that people should be arrested for catcalling? Probably not, if it's innocuous. But again, you have people who take it too far, who make it creepy, who make it beyond creepy, who make it dangerous and threatening, and
like, obviously if they're following you back home, that's fucked. But
of what overall point I wanted to make here and leave you all with, I'm not even sure that I have one. I saw the sorry police thing and I really wanted to weigh in on it. And then I guess a secondary thought that I have that I don't want to get into is I would love to be a fly on the wall when these coppers realize the primary demographics that are doing the catcalling and who is the most risk to women, and then how quickly they will shut the initiative down when they do that, when they realize that. So I guess if I have a final thing to say here, it is this. I feel very sad about the fact that interactions between men and women have been so eroded, and I feel sad about all of the normal people from both sexes who are being caught up in all of the stupidity. Dating is not easy for either sex for a multitude of reasons, and the more that we add social pressure to situations, I think the worse things turn out. I don't really want to see a bunch of gender bashing in the comments because I don't think that unilaterally one sex is to blame over the other, but I do think that we can direct a lot of our ire at the freaks and the weirdos who make it hard for everybody else. So in the end,
I think we already kind of are.
How we fix this, but I am positive that having an open, honest dialogue about these things is definitely a step in the right direction. Now, on that note, and before I open the floor to all of you, this is just a reminder, check out American Financing using the link in the description. If this is something that you are struggling with, finances are hard, trust me, I know. Definitely check them out, give them a call, see if they might be able to help you. Now, I open the floor to all of you. What do you all think? I'm a little scared of your comments, guys, for this video. Do you think that the Sorry Police initiative is a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it completely
I think it's
insane? It's overkill. It should not be happening. Do you think that actually there's some tangible benefit to doing this, to stopping people from catcalling?
Exactly. I think that's exactly what it is. I think they're not going to actually put police officers undercover. They just probably filmed it as a deterrent.
Do you think that catcalling is a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it innocuous? Is it threatening? Are you a woman who was catcalled as a young teenager and kind of creeped out from that? What do you guys make of the perspective that a lot of women have that they're not being approached when they're out? Do you think that this is because men are too fearful to approach them because they don't want to be misperceived? Do you think that it's because women have created a rod for their backs? Do you feel bad for the women in these cases because they're probably not even the ones who started all of this? They're too young to have been a part of the earlier movements that led men to this point. And would you generally make of this issue overall? As always, if you have made it this far in the video, congratulations. I always like having you along for the full ride. If you are new here and you're not subscribed already and you would like to see more of me and more of this kind of content, feel free to subscribe to the channel, as well as
I don't subscribe to anybody
because I do read the majority of them.
I'm a rebel.
I like hearing your feedback. Of course, my little chickadee noodles, I hope you stay safe and well and make good choices in the interim, and I will see your wonderful little faces in the next video.
Great video. But yeah, I think ultimately the main I think what's going to happen, this will probably happen in the next maybe 10-15 years or so, is women will get more courage. Honestly, I think women don't give themselves enough credit, and everyone speaks as if, women are powerless all the time. They're so weak and stuff. It's like, dude, yes, the average man is most likely stronger than the average woman. Yes, obviously, but if you've been, out on the street these days, any day, really, you'll probably notice that most people are kind of the same. I mean, not the same as in not literally the same, but most, if you would take a thin guy versus a thin girl, yeah, the guy would probably win in a fight, but as long as the woman fights back, I don't think the guy would be willing to even try anything once the woman starts fighting back. I think that is one of the bigger reasons why women have this looming threat over their shoulder all the time. It's because they think themselves weaker than they actually are. Straight up. It's I remember I was watching a streamer years ago, and they were telling their audience, they were telling the story about how they went on a Uber ride, right? And the Uber was taking them kind of in taking them on some sort of road that the streamer knew wasn't going in the right direction, if that makes sense. They weren't going, basically they took the wrong road, right? And then apparently the Uber guy, the driver, kept asking her for her number, and instead of just being no, period, right? Just hard no, right? Instead of saying that, she kept kind of bobbing and weaving, right? She kept kind of I have this and nah, that kind of thing. And while she was telling the story, I was so she never said no, right? And she mentioned how she was afraid or something, and was afraid of saying not giving the phone number, and was fearful that she was being kidnapped or something because they were going on the wrong road. And eventually it was fine, right? But it's once I heard that story, I was how, or you could just hard no. And this is what I think a lot of women have a problem with. And this is not just a woman thing. This is a man thing as well. People need to learn to say no. People need to learn to be, dare I say it, confident. I'm not kidding, right? Ultimately, I think what's going to happen is that as more and more men stop interacting and asking women out and approaching women, and more women start approaching men, more and more women will gain the courage to deal with a stranger, essentially, right? Now, obviously, for men, it's kind of the same. Yes, we are stronger than women, generally. Not always, but generally, right? But that doesn't mean that we're not afraid when we approach a random stranger, another guy, even a girl, honestly. You never know what's going to happen. If a random girl approached me on the street, a random woman approached me on the street, I would 100% be my caution would go immediately to 100%. Because why would they be approaching me, right? But yeah, that's my opinion. Ultimately, I feel women need to grow some balls. Yep, that's my opinion.